Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Please like and subscribe, it does help me immensely to produce more videos. Okay then, right, let's get into the first clip. Okay, we're on the A3, we're in the left hand lane and there is a slip road approaching with the car that's going to join. Now as we see this coming up, we're thinking about getting to the right hand lane. It's the first car that we're particularly concerned about as they join. But if we have a little look behind us, the white van absolutely fine, nice distance. But it's the red car that could have done us a favour. They could have moved over to the right hand lane, certainly if they were paying attention to what was happening in front of us with cars joining. They had the room, but obviously they're not bothered about that at all. Not bothered whatsoever. Carry on, just carry on past us, let us deal with it. And there's another car looking to pass, so we couldn't really move out to the right hand lane. Here comes the car, it can see us at this point. Does it get on with it? No, it pulls on so slowly, and even at this point here, there's the red car passing us, it doesn't get on with the job at hand, and this is quite poor driving. This could have ended up a lot worse, and we can also see nice professional driver too. Just what we expect. Not good. This could have ended very, very differently. Okay, in this clip here is primarily about this van behind us and how not to do a roundabout. As we're coming up to the roundabout, straight away, look, that's straight to the inner part. He's going in the same direction as us. Nice of him to advertise his company's name in such inappropriate behaviour on the road. As he goes past, I want to stay on the back because this car on the inside here wants to do exactly the same thing. Gets slightly held up. The Audi says I'm having none of that. They move from the wrong lane to the correct lane, come around and actually shut the other car down. So it seems it doesn't only happen to us, to learners, it happens to other people as well. And then the Audi then resolves into giving us some space, which is actually a nice touch, I think. Now what I want to do is just go to the front camera here so you can actually see how we approach the roundabout and how the van takes effect on the right. As you can see, we keep to the left, we're going straight on, correct thing to do, slowing down appropriately, checking to the right, and then the van comes flying up on the inside, completely wrong lane, goes right to the inner part of the roundabout, screams across, and then carries on down the road without a thought for anybody around him. Only one thing to say there really, and that's it. Okay, on to the next clip. This clip here, nice sunny day in Richmond Park, and it's a cyclist coming towards us. They are going to be overtaking another cyclist, but the speed and the closeness to our car is quite insane. This is the person in question. Watch as they pass us. Wow. On this clip here, we're looking at this lorry that's just about to pass us and the white van behind. They seem to be having a little bit of a two-if together. They pass us, which is not a problem at all. They do it relatively well, but when we go to look at the front camera, you'll see that the lorry is getting very close to that van in front, a little too close, and then the white van is getting close to the lorry that's just about to pass us now. There's a bit of distance there now, but that gets closer. Then the van decides to undertake the lorry, and as you well know, that's a mistake. Shouldn't be undertaken anyway, but he does it, he guns it. And the lorry seems not too pleased with that, because as we keep watching it, the lorry then goes back past the van then throws himself back over to the right hand lane, and unfortunately he gets really close to that lorry, and it just seems to carry on down the road. I'm not going to follow it down and bore you, but that goes on, the argument, for quite a ways, and it's pretty damn poor. Okay, this clip, learn a motorbike. Look, he's right in the middle there. We have to slow right down to stop. He could have waited or pulled over a little bit more, but he didn't. Looking at the back here as we come up to the same situation, there's no room there on the left. We stop. That space there is almost non-existent, but he still seems to find a way through it. And that's the reason why. Got to keep a lookout for that, obviously. Okay, in this clip we're back to the good old A3 again, and it's primarily about this blue car that's just moved over to overtake us. There is a police car in the distance, you probably can just see the flashing lights, and most people pretty much deal with that correctly. But this blue car does something rather odd. First off, does it actually see the emergency vehicle in the rear view mirror? I'm not thinking so. The car behind the blue car pulls over nicely. As comes the police car now, you can see what happens. They didn't exactly accelerate too hard there, but when you look at the front camera, you can see where that took place. There's the lorry, and here comes the blue car. What we do is we back off so that blue car could actually pass us and get into the left lane, because it decided it didn't want to go behind us. Don't know why it went right over to the other lane, but the weird thing is then, for some reason, it goes to the far right lane again. It's not passing anybody. Maybe they just got middle lane hogger in the head, and that's just where they naturally drive. I have no idea at all. Or they could be turning off at the junction a bit ways down the road. Okay, in this clip here, rural road, we're going to meet up with a tractor a bit further up the road. I'm quite impressed how my pupil handles this. Moving quite smoothly, paying attention to the distance, and all of a sudden out of nowhere we see this there. So they take action. They think there's a road on the right, I'm going to slow right down there. It was quite abrupt, but they did so to give that tractor lots of space, and let's be honest about it, we don't really want to argue with that now, do we? And I thought that was very well done indeed. On to the next clip. Okay, on this clip here, this is about two cycle riders. No, and it's not to criticise them at all. It's how to deal with cycle riders on this occasion. And that is, we're approaching the two abreast on the road, so we're having to slow right down to accommodate. We're on a bend, so we can't pass, and that's good. Now as we move on, you can see there's yet another bend to the left. And it's never a good idea to try and overtake on a bend, because when you try, this is the sort of thing that happens. A car comes the other way, so it's best to hang right back. My pupil's keeping a nice distance from these cyclists and is looking for the right opportunity to pass these two cyclists as we come around another bend. So you can see it's a steady flow of cars. There's not much you can do about that. So if you try to pass, it's very, very risky, and you may not give the cyclists enough room. Good on nice ride where they are. Right, now the road straightens up a wee bit here, so we're thinking, right, bit straight so we get a little bit closer. We're looking just as it dips down the other side. It's nice and clear. Move right out to give them a bit of space. Give it a good little punch. Straight past and back in again. No problem at all. And a little look from behind. Going over the bridge. There is a car behind us. Check. Indicate. Move out. Little punch. Nice clearance of the cyclist, don't bother them at all, and the other car does a similar job. He could have still given them a little bit more room. There was nothing coming. Okay, in this clip here we're moving through and we're looking at a white van that is pulling out from the right hand side. There it comes out of a junction. Now expect the unexpected. What's going to happen here? What do you reckon? Is he coming down our road, coming towards us? Can we fit through that gap? Let's see. Actually, he's not coming this way at all. So as we slow down and stop, who thought he was going to do this then? Like I say, always expect the unexpected. You just never know what's going to happen on today's roads. Nothing wrong with really what he was doing. He had to reverse him, but always expect the unexpected. Okay, this is a clip about tailgating primarily by this white car behind and the young lady getting too close. And I was trying to inform my pupil that when they get that close, you can sort of play subconsciously some mind tricks here. And that is, when you get to move off in slow moving traffic, you activate the brake light first. And sometimes subconsciously to the person behind, they see this and they tend to slow down before they actually get to you, and they give you a little bit of a gap. And that's what goes on here. There you go, look, a little bit more space than we had before. And as we move on again, the same sort of thing, a little bit of a brake light, and what do we get? We get even a slightly bigger gap. Now this is a pretty good idea within slow moving traffic, but please do not even think about doing this on a dual carriageway or a motorway where you're moving at any speeds, because this is what they call brake checking. And that is very dangerous indeed. That's not what we're doing here. We're trying to keep the person a distance away while we're moving slow moving traffic. She didn't see us there and she got a lot closer. So if you're going in slow moving traffic like this, you can do that and people can react, and hopefully they won't tailgate and keep up the back of your car. But you do not under any circumstances apply this tactic to any fast moving situation. but in traffic like this it can be quite helpful. Anyway, on to the next clip. Okay, this clip here is just about simple impatience. What we're looking at is the white car on the left hand side and the van behind. Now at the moment all is good and fine. They're over looking to pass me, of course, these two vehicles, and they do so, and as they do so they're picking up speed. If you look at the cars behind, they're static, they're staying the same speed as me, they're in no rush, they're doing the right thing, paying attention to what's going on and the speed limit they're in and not speeding. If we look to the forward camera, we can see the car then pass us, it will be followed by the van. Why the white car doesn't actually now go over to the left lane, there we go, probably a bit of lane hogging again. The van's having none of that anyway, so I don't care if you don't come over, I will just go on the inner lane and pass you there. As he goes further forward, he undertakes the white car, and as they keep going, what you're going to see basically at the end of the day was the impatience resolve into no value at all. Because as we go further up, all we're going to do is come up to some red lights, and as we've stayed nice and steady, no other cars have tried to pass us, they're all keeping a nice distance and flowing, and don't see the relevance of doing what these two just did. Coming up to the red light, both braking, both stopping. Where did it get them? Nowhere. Impatience for no reason. On to the next. Okay, in this clip here we're on the dual carriageway again. Look at how close this van keeps getting to us, behind us. He pulls back a little bit and then he goes, I think he's just not focused at all, because then he picks up speed again, gets really close to us. Just on our right hand side, as you'll see, there'll be a slip road that will join, and we're trying to take that into consideration. He's not paying attention to that at all. There's the slip road coming up where people can join, and he keeps getting close again. Now you may be thinking, looking at it, we're doing 35 mile per hour in a 50 mile per hour road. Well, we're looking to leave at the next junction, and when you get to see the front footage of this, you'll understand why we are doing that speed. Nevertheless, this guy gets closer and closer. Now we're coming off the slip road, and believe it or not, the man is even looking to pass us. Can you believe it? He's trying to overtake us at this point. He's not looking ahead. Look, there's no road there. Total impatience, you know, makes a learner driver very, very nervous indeed. Now it goes to two roads, and he undertakes us basically before we can actually get over to that right hand side by forcing and pushing. Now if you look at the front view here, that's what you can see. We're keeping a reasonable distance from the car in front. That's why we can't go any quicker. We'd be catching it up, as well as the slip road that's approaching on the left hand side where that red car just left. We're looking at the black car, so it's not moving, which is good. Now we're leaving at the next slip road, as you saw, from the rear view, and we're doing the speed that we can do for when we're going to leave. Now you saw from the back camera, when we actually go to leave, the van actually tries to overtake us. So as we're leaving here, we're keeping a weather eye on this van. He gets very close at this point, as you know, and it's about here that he looks to overtake, and then he suddenly realizes there isn't two lanes, there's one lane, and then he filters in behind. And like I say, before we can actually consider going over to the right, we're watching him closely, and he's forcing the undertake there, of which he does, and passes. It's a poor show all round, really, very poor indeed. Okay, dullard for me, it's these two characters here. I mean, I must admit it was a bit of a close call. The other one or two other good contenders, but if this would have went wrong, it would have been these two that could have caused a real problem on the road whilst joining. So it's these two for me. Thank you for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you again. Goodbye for now.